This is a transfer rumour that took me by surprise, but I still wanted to talk about it nonetheless in this edition of Wheel and Deal. It's the first Wheel and Deal that I've done since the transfer window closed, and although there may not be a lot of transfer activity going on at the present time, there are still early rumours flying around about players. According to Italian sports journalist Gianluca di Marzio, he has made a claim that Real Madrid wants to sign Declan Rice in the summer. Di Marzio spoke to a German news outlet and said, quote, "I know Carlo Ancelotti is a fan of Declan Rice, so he could be a good fit for Real, but I don't know if Real will make an offer for him. If Rice is available, Ancelotti is sure to be there. But I have no idea what strategy the Royals are pursuing, which players are staying or going." Real Madrid was a team that suffered a lot of financial setbacks, partly due to its rolling attempting to start the European Super League, and also because of other financial troubles that Spanish clubs have been facing over the past year or so. I know that Madrid needs to start looking for the future. Real needs to start looking for the future. You've got players in the team like Luka Modrić and Toni Kroos who are now in their 30s and are nearing towards retirement. And with Ancelotti now as manager, they're trying to build a younger team. One example of this is likes of players such as Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., and also newcomer who joined last summer was Camavinga, who I think is an excellent DM and has potential to go on to be one of the best in the world. Declan Rice going to Real Madrid would be a surprise move that no one would really expect to see, because Rice would be expected to go to another Premier League club, notably Chelsea or Manchester United, both of whom have been linked with him. Now, I wouldn't actually be too displeased if Declan Rice were to leave for Real Madrid. And before you criticise me, let me explain why. He'd be able to work under a world-class manager for a world-class and world-famous football team that's known for attracting some of the world's best footballing talent. He'd be playing in a foreign country, in a foreign league, and at a young age, it's easier to adapt to different surroundings and different leagues. Rice has the intelligence and the maturity to do that. And also, he'd be, I'm not going to say he's going to be guaranteed success, but there's a high chance that he will be successful in terms of silverware. And he'd win continental trophies. He could even go as far as winning a Champions League trophy with Real Madrid, if he were to join them. If you look at the Real Madrid midfield, it is starting to age. I mentioned Luka Modrić, who I think is one of the best midfielders of all time. He's 37, nearly. He's getting old. And I think one of the reasons why Real signed Camavinga was to build him up so he could replace Modrić in the long term. If you also take into account players such as Toni Kroos, he's getting older. And it's time to look at replacing him, potentially. Gareth Bale is expected to leave. That's not a point. That's another midfielder. I know he's not a defensive midfielder, but he's still part of the midfield nonetheless. He's expected to leave as well. And, they haven't really got a lot of young midfielders in there. I mean, they've got Federico Valverde, who I suppose is 23 years old, and he's starting to come good. And they got Eduardo Camavinga, like I say. So, where would Declan Rice fit into that team? Well, if you're playing in Spanish football, it tends to be quite free-flowing. It tends to focus on a deep-lying attack. And that's what Real Madrid's known for, having a very deep and strong attack. And when you look at goals that they score, it's usually worked around that midfield unit. They have midfielders who pivot, midfielders who can carry a ball forward, and midfielders who are known for the passing. Rice uses all three of those attributes in a game. And this is why he would suit the Real Madrid system. He can carry the ball long distances, as we know. He can read plays. And when he gets into a situation where he may even be playing against some of the biggest clubs in Spain, i.e. Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, he would be potentially having to put himself under more pressure in order to be more successful in games. He'd be competing against fiercer competition, is what I'm saying. And world-class talent thrives in La Liga. I think a lot of English players have gone out there and have made successes for themselves. You're looking at players such as Gary Lineker, who went out to Spain. Kieran Trippier recently was at Atletico Madrid. Those are just two examples of the past and more recent. They've had good, successful careers in Spain. And Rice could make a good career for himself at Real Madrid. Not only would he be working for Carlo Ancelotti, a manager who was at Everton last season and had an opportunity to watch Rice play, but he'd be playing at the Santiago Bernabeu, a famous stadium for a famous club, a very popular and successful club that's never been known for extreme failure. Not that West Ham has, but it's a step up. And at 23 years old, I think he's going to start looking to the near future and thinking how he can win trophies. These Real Madrid links have only come out really in the last, day or so. But, you know, there's still a lot to consider here. Real Madrid might even pursue Frank Kessie from AC Milan. He's a free agent in the summer. And if Kessie ends up going to PSG, Real Madrid could then push for Rice. And there's a lot to think about with something like this. There's the natural lure to go to Real Madrid because of what that club is. But Rice has to consider, is he going there just for the trophies, or is he going there because he wants to have a new challenge in a new country? And apparently, Real Madrid would want to pay 150 million for him, which you could say good money, but how would it be reinvested? That is my issue. And he's been a long-term target of Premier League clubs, so for him to want to be linked with a move to Spain, as I look at my notes here, I've put down that it's very strange, but it's a very unique rumour, and one that is believable. If you think about what Rice has achieved so far as a young player, you can see why other European clubs are taking note of him. Because he's already played in a European competition, that is the Europa League, and that's how he's got his exposure. If he did end up going to Real Madrid, I wouldn't be upset about it. I think that would be a fantastic move for him. And a really lovely opportunity as well for him to develop as a player. Experience a new culture, a new footballing culture with new fan bases, get to see different stadiums in a new country, and go through the challenges of learning a new language and adapting to life in Spain. So in conclusion, Declan Rice, with this report of a £150 million move to Real Madrid, I'd be sad to see him leave, of course, but I would absolutely love it for him to live out a dream like that. I wouldn't begrudge him at all. I'd still support him. I actually have a soft spot for Real Madrid. I've got a Real Madrid jersey somewhere, and it's a club that I do like. And if he went out to Spain and made a really good career for himself out there, it could be the start of a really bright future, and he is already on the way to world-class stardom, as we know. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Wheel and Deal. If you liked the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Take care, everybody, and I will see you all soon.